There's something pretty crazy that has just happened in the XRP community. If you guys were all aware of those predictions that placed XRP at like $35,000, well, today somebody has expanded upon this idea by creating a bank specifically focused on XRP. Well, you have to see to believe and understand what I'm talking about. And so here we go.
What's up? What's up? What's up? How you feeling, man? I'm pretty lucky. Say what? I'm fine. I'm pretty fine.
Oh, that's actually the wrong video. It's the same type of quality though.
It seems like where most people would like this to go is not to basically sell it to the government in a buyback type of thing.
Now, this is actually the right video. Just quickly wanted to ask y'all again to press that like button as we're still, don't know what happened there, trying to get to 1,000 likes on one video, and maybe today is that day. Also, if you're still looking for a crypto exchange, I use Bybit, link is down below.
But to basically collateralize a new bank, call it the People's Bank, not to sound like communist China. It's the People's Bank, and then use the value of those assets to basically draw down fiat and then do mortgages and stuff, exactly. And because this bank is more liquid because it's got the XRP, you can do things. So, one thing you could do, is have a group of people come to an agreement that the fair market value of XRP is very high. Let's say $10,000. We could all come together, put our $10,000 tokens into a new entity, collateralize it, then use fiat loans against our XRP to go acquire gold.
Have we not learned anything from UST? And I have to give a shout out to Crypto Lulu for doing this interview with our guys at Vahlil Capital. But just from this clip, I'm not 1,000% sure if he actually agrees with this notion or if he's just asking questions. And let's quickly make one thing clear. I do believe very much so in an extremely high price per XRP. I see it possible because there's, theoretically speaking, nothing that can stop it from going to crazy high prices. However, I would also like to state that I think I know my way around the banks at least a little bit, or at least enough to understand that his model, as far as I've heard thus far, doesn't really make a lot of sense. Anyway, before we dive deeper, let's quickly watch the rest of this little interview.
And bring gold into the bank. And now all of a sudden, when the collapse finally occurs, who's left standing with the gold and the XRP? The most liquid, wealthiest bank there is. So that's the game that everyone's trying to play right now. The central banks are trying to do it. Everybody knows the power of these digital assets. Yeah. That's why the government is trying to keep us out of it, right? With the SEC lawsuit.
Yeah, it seems like there are so many different ways that we can get to the destination. Mm-hmm. There's the whole buyback thing. There's a multitude of other ways. And this isn't anyone saying this is what's going to happen.
Correct.
What we're saying is that there are many ways we're going to get there, but what seems to be the ideal outcome, regardless of how it gets there, is to start thinking like a bank, working together, collaborating with others in trusted groups, operate like banks, and you'll come out the other side, regardless of how it gets there, buybacks, whatever happens or doesn't happen. It seems like thinking like a bank is the way to go. So
this is the most beautiful conversation I think I've had to date on this topic. I can see it. You got it.
Now, again, props to the guys for thinking outside the box. I definitely am a big fan of throwing out a crazy idea and then trying to work it out because maybe it's possible. But as far as I've understood, you come together with a group of people. You decide together that the value per XRP should be $10,000. Now, that's all cool and all, but who will actually give you $10,000 worth of gold based on the XRP you have in storage? And also, what were to happen if the XRP price were to crash then? Would it be redeemable again as well? All that stuff still in my head does not click, which is why I don't want you guys to fall for it just quite yet. Again, maybe there's a very good explanation for it all, but at face value, it does not make sense to me. And if it doesn't make sense to me, it's not going to make sense to any of the major guys trying to sell gold. And if this ever does come into fruition, I just don't want you guys to lose money, because I've been burned on UST, guys. I lost millions of dollars. I've told you guys about this story multiple times, and it was because I simply did not take the time to look into it for more than 15 minutes. Another part of the reason why I'm so skeptical, though, is because of news that came out earlier today/yesterday. The Federal Reserve slams Custodia Bank, saying it endangers crypto industry and itself. Now, there's a bank, in light terms, which is called Custodia Bank, and they filed a new application with the Federal Reserve. Custodia countered that its model prevents the kind of bank run that recently bedeviled, the banking industry. And the point is, the Federal Reserve has basically said, hey, you're too much exposed to this cryptocurrency stuff. We don't want you in our Federal Reserve system. They've come out all guns blazing against the Custodia Bank's attempt to become a member of the system, as it criticized the proposal and justified its rejection. In a 90-page document, they showed some concerns about their approach. Custodia Bank, formerly known as Avanti, is a Wyoming special depository institution. It applied to become a Federal Reserve System member and obtain federal master account. But the Fed rejected the application for membership in January of 2023. After 18 months, Custodia filed a lawsuit against the Fed in June 2022 over its master account application, which, by the way, is still pending. And now the Federal Reserve comes in to say, at the time of the rejection, the Fed stated that it rejected the application because of the significant risks surrounding the business model and insufficient risk management systems. Its new statement delved further into explaining those reasons. And according to the Fed, its reason for rejection can be classified under the 4 headings. These are managerial factor, financial factor, corporate powers factor, and convenience and needs factor. It added that Custodia Bank does not have adequate risk management systems and controls suitable for the crypto industry that it chooses to serve. Quote, those concerns are further elevated with respect to Custodia because it is an uninsured depository institution seeking to focus almost exclusively on offering products and services related to crypto asset sector, which presents heightened illicit finance and safety and soundness risks. Although the Fed admitted that the bank appears to have sufficient capital and resources to sustain initial operations, it questioned its sustainability, saying its business model is vulnerable to volatility. And so, again, in this whole idea of this XRP bank, we're going to have to come to a conclusion as to what the XP price should be, but it's still prone to normal market volatility, right? Or are we assuming that everybody were to come together with every single dot of XRP? Otherwise, there would still be market volatility, and that would still then be some sort of trouble. Would that mean the value of XRP would then, go away from $10,000 for a little bit, or would that be set and then the underlying price of XRP in real terms will still change? How does that exactly work? Because you have to understand, in decentralized systems, we can't all come together and conclude that it's $10,000 flat and just period, unless it completely overtakes the US dollar and it's basically, okay, one XRP has the value of 10,000 of these little useless USD nuggets, but right now it's like 10,000 of these real dollars as of this point, which I think is going to change, but okay, have the value of this one tiny little nugget. Yet again, a lot of people would actually sell their tiny little nugget for a lot less. And Custodia had a good response saying, hey, we want to back it by about 108%, basically meaning, hey, if we have $1 in our system, we're backing it up by $1.08. And so, their reasonings were pretty good, but still the Fed was like, you know what? They spit in their face, basically, because they don't give a crap. If this was a fair game, a lot of more people would be rich. This is not a fair game. This is a keep the current system afloat type of game, and so these newcomers are not really accepted, unless it's better for them than it hurts them. But still, you gotta think about it from the banker perspective. Let's say you have your tiny little clique of guys, and it's working like a charm, you're making tons of money, and another guy wants to come in, but he's trying to take a little bit of money and power away from you, and even though it might help with making your system even a little bit more robust, you have to lose a very large share. And again, there as well, he's trying to revolutionize the space, so it might only hurt you in the long run. Are you gonna let him in? Well, obviously not, because why would you? In a similar sense, this XRP related bank, it's an idea that's too early for actually being executed. But then again, if we're starting to talk about XRP in 10 years into the future, I mean, take a look at how fast AI has come in this very short amount of time, and take a look at where the crypto space was 10 years ago. If we're talking about a 10-year outlook, everything is possible, literally everything. The dollar might literally not be here anymore. It might just be completely worthless. Maybe China will be the massive superpower. Maybe cryptocurrencies will be a baseline, and CBDC will be a side nugget that never took off. Maybe cryptocurrencies will bend into oblivion, and it will be like a thing the resistance movement is holding. I know I've been talking about this a lot already today, and so I'll keep it kind of small, but meanwhile, the Fed's statement will likely add more fuel to the fire of conspiracy theories about the Biden administration trying to debank the crypto industry, which I agree with. I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. I think that's literally what's happening in like the most casual way. I don't know how you could call this a conspiracy theory when it's literally happening. The Fed release is the longest order in the bank's history. It gives an idea of the Fed's view on stablecoins. It mentioned that allowing Custodia-based stablecoin AVIT to be deposited into a Fed master account might give the tokens a form of backing, enabling it to scale quickly and gain more users globally. And Custodia Bank has said they basically have a lot of bias against, well, a bank working with digital assets, which again, I understand because it goes against their grain. It goes against their system. So it's an uphill battle like always. We've seen the articles, we know what's happening in the background, we know they are afraid, we know they're going for desperate measures, we know there is something really, really crazy looming, but all that I covered in a video earlier today. Anyway, that was it for today. Let me know down below what you think about this idea of the XRP bank situation. Again, let's make it clear. Could a concept akin to this ever happen? I'm not saying no. Could this idea, the way he specified it, work? That I do not think. At the end of the day though, the price of XRP is basically in a sense of the sky's the limit. But again, his theory is strange to me. But let me know down below if you agree or disagree with the theory, if you think it can happen, or what your max XRP price would be, if any, or if you agree that there's not really any max. And also make sure you press that like button if you enjoyed it. And most importantly guys, that you have that notification bell on for further updates.